Here in just a moment. Greetings from Storybrooke. This is the land where bullying could lead to your neck getting snapped by what did I put? By plant life. Okay, that was pretty lame. And we talk about ABC's hit series show Once Upon a Time. All right, guys. Once again, we're coming to you. Okay, I don't know. I would say take two, but I can't do that because we record this live even though we're not going live. Anyway. How are you guys doing this week? It's a full crew this week. We have with us Tony Hoop. How are you doing this week, Tony? Good. Your volume's a little low. Or did I turn you down or something, maybe? Did I? Okay. Monica, how are you?
I'm good.
No, I didn't turn you down. For some reason,
can't hear you, Tony.
Yeah, it's on your end, Tony.
No.
Yeah. Just turn your voice up a little bit.
Tony has been silenced.
Okay. But while he's figuring that out, Monica, how are you doing this week?
I'm good.
Good to hear. And finally joining us again this week, Elizabeth, how are you doing this week? Any news for us?
Thanks for the setup, Bobby. All right, well, move over Captain Swan and their baby because it's my turn. I would like to announce that I am pregnant, and I'm very excited. Just a little backstory. I've been with my boyfriend Chris for 9 months. We've been dating for 9 months. We're both very excited. Our families are excited. I found out last Wednesday, 4 hours before the podcast was to air. So that's why I wasn't on the show last week, because I was telling my boyfriend he's going to be a father, and we're just very, very excited. It's been an interesting 5 days. I've already had some hormones going through my body. I want to tell you this story real quick, guys. So Friday, I was trying to get some IHOP, and I ended up going to 3 different IHOPs. I swear to God, it was like the first one I went to. I sat down and I was trying to order sausage, and the waitress was like, "Well, we don't have spicy sausage." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you do. It's the Link one." And she's like, "No, we don't." I'm like, "Did you ever stop to think maybe we don't have the same taste buds?" And because I was sarcastic, I felt like I was being rude, so I got huffy. I walked out, went to a second IHOP, ordered the food to go. My credit card wouldn't go through. So at this point, I'm starting to cry and have a meltdown over sausage and breakfast. And my boyfriend's on his break. He's calling me. He's trying to calm me down, but he already knows he can't tell me to calm down because that'll make it worse. Mm-hmm. So by the time I got to the third IHOP, everything worked out. But I seriously had a meltdown over breakfast, and I knew how ridiculous I was being at the time. So that's my sausage story. But anyways, tomorrow I will be 5 weeks along, and the baby is supposed to be due on New Year's Eve, which I think is really cool because I like to think that the baby, if it is born on New Year's Eve, will have fireworks for its birthday every year, and I think that's cool.
And if he's born on New Year's Eve, you'll get to claim him for that year instead of the next year, instead of having to wait a whole tax year. Or she, true. But I'm just saying you'll be able to claim them for that tax year as opposed to having to wait. If they're born on January 1st, you're going to have to wait a whole calendar year to claim them on your taxes.
Thank you for giving me more to think about if I didn't have enough already.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to like...
I'm just teasing you. I'm very, very excited. I've wanted to be a mother my whole life. So this is my first pregnancy, and I'm very excited. So that's what's going on with me.
Yes, we're all very, very happy for you.
Thank you.
I was upset that you couldn't be here for the 200th episode, but
I was too.
As we all were. But I'm just saying that if there was going to be a reason, I picked
a good one.
Yeah. So
And to that end, you know, the funny thing is for me, I've always wanted to be able to announce something really cool that's going on in my life in this show. And I thought, oh, maybe someday I'll get to announce an engagement or something. You know, but this is really cool too. I'm like really excited. So I'm glad I get to tell you guys. I have not put it on Facebook yet. So when Bill hears this, I don't know what his reaction will be. I'm sure he'll be excited for me, obviously. But yeah, no, I haven't posted anything on Facebook yet because we're still telling people. So yeah, okay, I'm done.
Well, I guess hurry up and put that on Facebook because, you know.
I want to. I really do.
Well, I'm just saying, obviously, that, you know, I mean, you know, Bill will probably get
out there.
Yeah, it's going to be out there now. Anyway, like I said, congratulations. We're all very happy for you. And
Thank you.
without further ado, Monica, why don't you go ahead and hit us up with this week's rhyming summary.
Go, girl.
Okay, here we go. Gothel and her sister stalk young ladies who will mock. Lucy asks Sandy for magic, in an ending we hope won't be tragic. Pieces of the glass shoe create magic. Who knew? The coven has Alice quite riled in this week's episode, Flower Child.
Season 7, episode 19, Flower Child. Okay, so basically this is like Gothel's backstory. You know, like every season, it's like, okay, you know, towards the end of the season, you know, we're getting towards the end of the season because now here we're going to try to make you feel bad for the big bad. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. While I don't necessarily think they did a very good job of making me feel any sympathy for Gothel, to be honest with you. I mean, pretty much everything she did was her own doing. It wasn't like anyone did anything to her. Well, I mean, people did things to her, don't get me wrong, but she put herself in that situation even though people tried to warn her. And I don't know. I had a lot of opinions about it. Anyway, there was a lot going on in this episode, and it was like, I think the last 10 minutes of the episode, at least as far as I'm concerned, almost had one of the biggest like WTF moments of like the show. Like I totally was not expecting that. It totally tied this season into the rest of the show proper. You know, whether it be a reboot season or not, it totally threw me for a loop. I don't know if you guys saw the promos for next week, but that threw me for an even bigger loop.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely coming to a close here. I think the promo was saying 2 more episodes till the final, so we got actually 3 then, right? 2 more. If it's 2 more episodes, okay. No, it said 2 more episodes till the series finale is what the promo said.
It'll be the beginning of May, and then May 18th. They're gonna skip May 11th.
Oh,
yeah. So May 4th and May 18th, May 11th. Or I don't think there'll be an episode May 11th. Is what I think.
Because the way I took it was with them saying, I mean, we could look at IMDb real quick and solve that real quick and see how many episodes are in the season. If we're on 19 and they're only, and whether they have 21 or 22, that's the big question.
We definitely know that the finale is 1 hour and it's on May 18th. I know that.
So they are just doing 1 hour. They're not doing 2.
From what I know, it's only 1 hour.
Okay, because in the past, almost every year, in fact. In the past, not only has it been a 2 hour, but they usually have like an hour
recap.
Yeah, before the yes, exactly. Yeah. Anyone have any, Monica?
According to IMDb, it's just going to be 1 episode a week from here on. May 4th, May 11th, May 18th.
Oh, okay. Oh, so there is 3. Okay.
Okay, so there are 3 more episodes. Okay, that's what the question was. Okay. So yeah, that's what because like I said, from the promo it was saying, you know, like 2 more until the series finale. And so that's what I took, is that there's 2 more and then the series finale. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's like I was just saying, it's obvious they're drawing to a close. But I actually, for spoiler alert, for the most part, liked this episode. I will give it that at the very least. Wet my whistle here for a second. Excuse me.
You don't have to be secretive about your cup. Look,
no, I wasn't secretive.
It was
heavy, and I just didn't want to. It's in a styrofoam cup and heavy, so I don't want to pick it up and pour it all over my soundboard.
Oh, okay. That is a good reason then.
That's why I was keeping it over there.
Okay. Don't be ashamed of your cup. Don't be ashamed.
I'm ashamed of my game. All right. All right. Without further ado, here we go. So many years ago, a young Gothel gathers flowers with her sister when she comes across a group of maidens preparing for a ball. Her sister warned her to stay away. Their mother will be upset, but Gothel can't help herself. When the ladies leave the room, she sneaks in to get a closer look at their world. Gothel runs her fingers across the fabrics of the dresses, using magic to make a small blossom on one of the dresses bloom before the ladies have returned. Before she sees the ladies have returned. God. She apologizes for using magic, tells them it's harmless, but the girls are not frightened. They even seem intrigued. When the girls ask if she can teach them, Gothel quickly agrees, and they invite her to the ball they were preparing for. Years later, Eloise enters the police station, but she's not looking for Rogers or Weaver. She uses the force on Desk Sergeant Rias. Say that 10 times fast, okay? She needs help for the coven to return. At Henry's apartment, he and Jacinda try to make sense of the results from the hospital. They have no memory of it, but the results are right there in black and white. Henry tells her that he loved her at first sight and that he is beginning to believe Lucy. Jacinda says that if she's Cinderella, where's her glass slipper? Henry shows her a chunk of glass that he found, so okay. Just then, she gets a text from Sabine, which gives her the perfect excuse to leave because things just got awkward. Back at the police station, Rogers interrogates Drew. He wants more info on Sandy. Drew tells him that magic is real, and Rogers is just as skeptic as Jacinda was. But what else could explain what happened to Nick? Elsewhere, Sergeant Rice has done as Gothel asked and woken the coven. If it was this easy, why didn't she just do this like 8 episodes ago? So, flashback to Gothel's youth. She returns home through a magical door, and her mother tells her it's time to return to her true form, a tree nymph. Mother tells her that humans don't understand magic. Gothel says that she has met people that are not afraid, and Mother tells Gothel that when the mantle is passed on to her, she will be mother of all the magic in the land, but to her, that just sounds like a burden. Years later, Gothel approaches Tilly, but Tilly wants nothing to do with her. Gothel tells her that she's her mother, but Tilly says even if that were true, her mother left years ago, so she wants nothing to do with her. Gothel tries to throw blame elsewhere, but Tilly doesn't need her. Tilly and Rogers both know nothing makes sense right now, but they'll figure it out together. Okay, so she's a tree nymph? That came out of like nowhere. And is that does anyone like where even is that from a thing? Is that a thing I should know, the tree nymph thing, or is that just kind of a basic vague thing? Okay, that's what I was asking. Is
definitely a UAT thing.
Okay, it's just some like vague fantasy thing then at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So now Sandy doesn't have magic. Are they going to make up their mind whether he can flicker in and out or not? I don't understand.
Question mark.
Yeah. So anyway,
Sandy had only had magic that he garnered when Anastasia.
When he took it from Anastasia, yeah. I know, but it seems to me that even before that, he was already doing the whole flicker thing when he first came into Ronnie's bar. And then he was doing the flicker thing before. And Drew's all scared of him. I mean, it just seems to me they're playing really. Either he's playing coy and does have magic and just doesn't want to give it up, or they just, are playing willy-nilly with the rules of the show because, like I said, at one moment it seems like he is a magical person, and another moment he's like, "Oh, magic is so scarce, I don't know where to get it." And yeah, okay, dude.
I don't know. He's they've broken so many rules. I think we should be used to it by now.
That's true too. Yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, I just wish they would make up their mind. It just seems it kind of flip flops literally week to week at this point.
I mean, hey, they got 3 weeks left.
Yeah, that's true.
Flip.
Each week, yeah. Let me see. At this point, so like the last week, I guess will be odds. This is even whatever.
Right. It'll be different. Just know it'll be different.
Elizabeth, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Do you have anything to say here?
Yeah, the whole tree nymph makeup and hair and outfits, I wasn't buying it. It was really shoddy makeup. I mean, with Zelina's green, it's like you can believe it, but with the tree nymph green, it was like so pale. I almost see the real skin tone. I swear to God, it was just like I was like,
okay,
it just seemed too fake to me. I couldn't buy into it.
Did you see the last episode with Zelina on it when she was painted green? I liked that episode. I liked no, her face.
Her shades of green are getting different each week.
Like
they're getting different. Sometimes they're too dark, and they're too light.
No, seriously, the scenes with I didn't bring it up during the episode, but like I just have to point it out because you brought up how good Zelina's makeup is. And in general, I would agree with you. But this past season in particular, even how many times did we see her as the Wicked Witch this past season? I think it would have been maybe 2 episodes of season 7. Right, exactly. Of course, there was the one episode 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, with Ivor or whatever the guy's name was. We can't remember what the guy's name was.
He's dead by now, we know.
Well, that's true.
Maybe.
But like her face, like the whole time I was watching it, I don't know if it was because of the lighting, because they were like kind of sitting by the fireplace, and so it was really off lighting and everything. But like
it was
creepy. Her face was like, it was bad. You could see the skin tone coming through, and
really, I didn't notice that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, let's just say, it's probably for the best that Ivor was blind. I would just say that.
Oh, I'm wondering if it was like rubbing off on his hands.
Let me touch your face.
Yeah, well, he was like, "Oh, you're beautiful." It's like,
You're the green.
I'm sorry. Like,
right.
I'm betting it's definitely going to be in the bloopers. Like, I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's how I felt about the.
The makeup was like, even in Charmed. Side note, Charmed, when they did nymphs, they at least showed their real skin tone.
Right, I liked that version.
And what was this?
Charmed.
Yeah.
I've only seen a few episodes of that.
It's the best show.
Okay, well, I mean, hey, Holly Marie Combs was like, we wish them well. And
oh my God, I love Holly Marie Combs.
Oh, she threw haterade all over that.
All over that.
Oh yeah.
That was just
awesome way too.
Like that was just a pinch, a dash, of haterade.
Sorry, not sorry.
You're right. Now, sorry, not sorry. We wish them well. But anyway, but at least the nymphs in there, they had their natural skin tone. They weren't painted a certain way. They had maybe, I don't know, flowers in their hair and butterflies, and they were wearing something green or whatever. But at least they didn't have to have green skin. I didn't know that nymphs were supposed to have like light puke green skin.
Well, that's
puke green.
That's what it seemed like. It was puke green. It wasn't even green. Like it was an
ugly green for sure.
It was an ugly.
It was like baby powder,
like neon green. And
it was like bluish. It was like light blue baby powder. It was like blue baby powder. You're talking about on the nymphs, right?
Right.
Yeah, like it was like they went through a big powder, like a big dust storm, a powder storm.
Like they're like, okay, shut your eyes. Okay, next. It was terrible.
Oh my God. That baby powder was white.
but that's well, they put some like blue dust in there with it.
Mm-hmm. Or some expired baby powder. I don't know.
Some moldy baby powder.
Oh my god.
No, but that's why they only had Gothel dressed up like that for one scene.
Oh my god. You crossed the line, Bobby.
Okay.
Jesus.
I've said worse.
Oh, Jesus.
You
For
have
the
anything
next
to
3
add
weeks,
before
we need a swear jar.
do you have anything to add before we move on, Elizabeth?
No.
Tony, what do you have to say about this episode?
Well, so yeah, Gothos a tree nymph. Suddenly, it kind of makes sense with all her wood magic.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me, Alice's magic was completely different from her mother's. Have you noticed? You know, like she's imaginary magic, but Gotho is all nature and things like that.
Maybe it's
And
the half human part.
Well,
maybe.
it's funny that you say nature because I think that literally she is Mother Nature.
Well, yeah, in
Ew.
a sense. With her being
No, I think
Mother
that's what we saw in this episode is that like her mother, they never referred to her by anything as
Mother Nature is such
mother.
a bitch.
Yeah, but just mother.
So I think, well, she can be. I mean, you ever seen a hurricane or a tornado or whatnot? But I think that Gothel in this story is, taking on the mantle of Mother Nature. Which again, like you said, definitely makes sense with her nature powers and things of that nature. God, that was stupid.
And it does have, oh, I do have something to add.
Huh?
Sorry, I just remembered I do have something to add.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead real quick.
This really helps for me tie in at the beginning of the season where she was like taking the dirt and trying to mold something out of the dirt. Is that it explains that now? Where when I couldn't make sense of it before.
Yeah, I do agree that this episode did do a good job of kind of tying up the Gothel story a bit as far as that is concerned. It did feel like there was actually seeds they planted. Yeah, God, that was lame.
Yeah. Pun intended. So seeds, pun intended. But yeah, like I mean, I think what they really did with this season, they really did show a different. They differentiated people's magic. It wasn't all the same, except just a different color of smoke.
That's actually a very good point, Tony. I hadn't thought about that. That is something that they brought new to the table here.
It's just that everybody's magic was the same. You either knew a force push, the fake force push, or it was
a chokehold or a cloud or whatever the case may be.
Something.
Yeah.
I like how they really differentiate people's magic. With Alice's magic being totally on her imagination. There's plant life magic. There was Hades, but he was a god. But I'm just reaching back, towards different types of magic. So it's not like they've done it like this is the first time that they've done it. But I like how they differentiate it, instead of just changing the color of the smoke.
Well, so like Ivy's powers were, like that.
Also plant life,
because she was taught by Gothel.
That was my next point.
Right. Whereas Alice was not taught by Gothel. That's why, her powers manifested in their own way. And so that was the Alice story here, the Alice / Chili story. It's definitely a story of like, nature versus nurture.
Definitely. Makes so much sense.
And even I think the Mother Nature character in the show says something along the lines when she's, skipping ahead a little bit here, but she says something along the lines. I wish I had written it down. Only the something. God, gosh darn it! I can't remember it at this point. She says something about like, good fruit. Good trees bear only the.
Mother knows that only.
But
only sweetness bears good fruit.
Something like that. Because I was just watching it. And
something along those lines, But yes.
It all depends on how your magic is done.
Or but I mean, it's again, it's all about like how you raise. It's
Right.
But again, like like I said, it's nature versus nurture.
Mhm.
Which is kind of cool to think that like Tilly wouldn't be the person, Alice wouldn't be the person she was if it weren't for Hook.
Basically, exactly.
Yeah.
What I've also learned with this show is that not only do they differentiate their powers, but it also deals with how basically, like we all agreed just now, like how they're raised. If their magic is nurtured the right way, it's not going to be considered, in Zelina's case, wicked or evil or whatever. It's how it was supposed to be, instead of manipulated and things like that and turned dark.
Another thought I just had before we move on, or before I lose the thought, I've almost already lost the thought. Hold on. Okay, you were just talking about. Okay, I lost it. Never mind.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's gone.
Frustrating.
I may stop someone in mid-sentence later on if I remember it. Tony, was there anything else you want to add before I move on to Monica?
Also, would somebody like to tell me how long Gothel's been strolling around the street till they need her? In the same clothes, in the same outfit. It's like the last time we saw her. She was like, "Okay, guys, I'm finished. I'm just gonna walk out and go round about the street and just go in my same clothes until you need me in a few more episodes." And here I am again, same clothes, same outfit. Like, how long have you been walking down the street for? And also, it's finally nice to have the side characters say and do a lot more. But yet, all Sergeant is what I'm speaking about. All he was just a plot device.
Yeah.
A kind of another Nurse Ratched, if you will.
At least Nurse Ratched was Nurse Ratched. Monica, I'm going to just go ahead and let you add what you had to say about this real quick.
Yeah, you brought up his name. I didn't know he had a name.
I had to pause it. I had to pause it 4 times and look at his name tag.
I thought it was.
I had to pause it 4 times and look at his name tag. Samuel R. Rice, or Samuel Rice, RYCE. Samuel Rice.
Okay, so it was something with an S. Okay.
Yes, it said Samuel Rice.
Him Sergeant Desk.
But yeah, he's a desk. Yeah, I had to pause it 4 times and go back and look at it because I was like, you know what? I don't care if this show's not giving him a name. We're giving him a name. I'm gonna make sure this man is named on the, because we've seen him nearly every week. He's a good guy. He was there for Sabine. Even he had to play by the book, but he was still there for Sabine. Damn it, we're giving him a name.
We are giving him a name. Sergeant Desk. I like it better.
It's Desk Sergeant Rice. Give it
Desk Sergeant.
Desk Sergeant.
Right.
All right.
It's just like he was just, of course. Like, wait for it, of course. A plot device for him to be important. And it was like, come on.
Hello, up Tony's nose.
Jesus Christ.
His nose is like right there.
Okay.
But you get it.
Oh, okay.
I said nothing.
You're fine. Okay.
I gotta start working on my filter.
All right. If no one else has anything to add, I'm going to go ahead and move on with the.
There wasn't anything in there, was it?
No.
I just sometimes people have other things like, I thought like that, like the thought that I lost, and I'm hoping that I regain, but probably never will. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, Gothel's having a wonderful time at the ball. The ladies are anxious for her to teach them magic, and Isla invites her to the green room at back. Serafina tells Gothel she doesn't have to do this, but she is more than happy to show them that magic is all around. You just have to know where to look. She waves her hands over a mound of dirt, and a flower instantly sprouts, which is then which is then ceremoniously stomped on by Isla. Turns out that they were turns out they were tricking her all along.
Yay!
I wrote this and I still can't write it. Read it. The other girls grab Gothel as Isla dumps a bucket of mud on her to let her know what they think of her. Serafina is obviously not liking what's going on, but doesn't say anything. Isla tells Gothel magic is an abomination, and the girls snicker as they walk back to the ball, leaving Gothel to wallow. Years later, Eloise goes to Ronnie's to see Margot. But she's not really there to talk. She uses her mind tricks and gets a drop of blood from her daughter's love, Margot, who never even realizes she was there. Meanwhile, Tilly thinks Henry might be able to help them, but Roger says he will think that they are crazy. Henry enters the door, but he's kind of busy. Tilly tells them about Eloise being a witch and Nick being killed by voodoo, and he lets them in. But the room is filled with maps and pictures and notes with pins and yarn connecting all the dots. Henry tells them about all the similarities from his books and weird things in town that have made him start to believe. They still have no memory, but decide to treat this as if it's a story from his book. The Coven is after magic, and they need to do what they can to keep it from them. Rogers gets a call from Rice, tipping him to some weird things going on at the abandoned theater, and Tilly tags along. At Jacinda's, Lucy goes through old things, hoping to find the token Sandy asks her to look for. Jacinda plays along, and they open a box marked Before Lucy. It looks like nothing special until Jacinda starts pulling out stuff that she doesn't remember, like a t-shirt and an old greasy bag from Granny's Diner. What's Granny's Diner? She opens the bag and finds the other part of the glass slipper. Across town, Tilly and Rogers stake out the theater and follow Gothel in when they see her enter. Flashback to her youth. Gothel wipes the mud from her as she returns home, but the magical door is no longer locked. As she enters, she sees that was once beautiful and peaceful is now cold and lifeless. She screams for her sisters, but gets no response. She finally comes across her mother, clinging to what life she has left. She tells Gothel humans came and destroyed the grove, and with it her sisters. Gothel apologizes for not believing her, but Mother tells her that there is nothing to be sorry for. Nature has run its course, and it's time for Gothel to find a new place and start anew. With that, Gothel is left all alone. Flash forward to Seattle. Tilly and Rogers run into the theater after Eloise and are surprised to find Rice there with the woken members of the Coven. They overcome Tilly and Rogers. He warns them not to hurt Tilly, and Gothel tells him Tilly is not the one that they are looking to hurt. Okay, so first of all, as soon as I saw Gothel outside looking at those girls and then them saying, "Oh, we like magic," I knew this was going to be Mean Girls. I mean, this was like obviously where that was going. And then, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, no, they took it way further than that. I'll mention that later. But then, why would they make T-shirts for Granny's? Or why would Granny's Diner have T-shirts? That doesn't make any sense. Some little small greasy spoon, they wouldn't have T-shirts like that. But where can I get one? Because I totally want a Granny's Diner T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, those were my 2 cents for this for these acts. Elizabeth, do you have anything to add or ask or anything?
Crap, I had a thought. Oh yeah, so the scene where they're dumping the mud onto her, and she's like screaming. It was just straight out of the horror movie Carrie.
Yes.
Instead of what, fish guts or blood, it's mud.
Didn't I put that? I thought I put that somewhere in here. I thought I put somewhere in my notes that this was 2 parts Mean Girls, or 1 part Mean Girl, 2 parts Carrie.
I don't know.
I've never even seen Carrie, and I got Carrie vibes.
Yeah. Like not only the mud, but what happened later. Like everything about it. Yes, it was totally, like I said, it was Mean Girls. It was 1 part Mean Girls, 2 parts Carrie. But I didn't think they would go the whole Carrie route. Like when I first saw the first scene, I was like, oh, this is going to be Mean Girls. And then I was like, oh, no, this is Carrie.
Yeah, you could totally tell that blonde girl was not to be trusted.
Yeah. She looked a lot like that girl from Pitch Perfect.
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
The like girl who plays that part in Pitch Perfect.
Oh, like the leader? Nah.
Yeah. To me, it looked a lot like the girl from Pitch Perfect. Yes, like the
Okay.
girl who
I didn't see that,
ends
but
up
yeah.
puking all over people or whatever. Isn't that how in Pitch Perfect the movie starts with her? They're at the acapella, and she ends up throwing all over the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
gross.
Jesus.
Oh.
That was gross.
Yeah. She did look a fair bit like Yannick. Yeah.
Not for hermetophobes. That's if you're afraid of puke. Anyway, so yeah, and is that all you had to add about the Carrie thing?
Yeah.
Elizabeth? Okay. Tony, what did? Apparently, you want some granny merch as well.
Yes, I do want some granny merch as well too. I want a shirt. And also, I mean, I knew from the direct start, the moment the camera came over to, I don't know how to say her name. Is it Isla?
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever
well, we're
it
gonna go
is,
with
it's
Isla.
not one of my baby's names.
Right.
It's off the list.
Cross that off.
Right?
Isla, I knew from the very start the camera came to her face. I was like, nope. No. She had the crazy eyes, and I knew she couldn't be trusted. And I swear, if I could say the other word right now, I'd say it. But and also, everything would just seem so. What's the word I'm looking for? Everything just seems so so obvious. There you go. There's the right word. Everything seems so obvious in that scene, with Isla being crazy eyed girl, and Serafina, letting more on than what she knew. Always the camera was always on her face. When she felt guilty or some things like that. Everything was very obvious in this flashback scene. So, I mean, that's what it just seems like, that everybody, you knew what everybody's role was. That's what I wanted to add on.
But I mean, I guess playing devil's advocate, they're trying to wrap up everything they can as quickly as they can, which you definitely have been feeling in these past few episodes.
It's like a roll of the dice if it's going to be good or not. If they do it,
like on the I don't even know the phrase I'm looking for, but like all of a sudden Henry went from like 0 to 60 as far as
believing.
I don't believe, and then it's like hair,
oh
my god, this yarn.
I believe it. Yes. Thank you, thank you, writers. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm just gonna string here and
we gotta freeze frame all those boards.
Right, like. Oh my god! It just seems like everything was so obvious. Like, we know you're ending. Thank you for reminding us that that the show is ending. So
but like I said, you
got to do what you got.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So you can, you kind of got to like give them the benefit of the doubt as far as that's concerned.
And you know what? No, I don't really blame them. I mean, it is what it is. And I thank you for being, what's the word I'm looking for? Not on top of things, but not dragging things along. Usually, but I like shows that do that. Period. That don't drag stuff along. But just my sense.
All right. So Monica, did you have anything to add before we move on to the last act?
I wish I was as on point as y'all are for seeing things that are apparently right out there on Front Street, because I didn't see it coming at all.
What?
I was right there with Gothel. I would have been blindsided too. But the one thing I did love about this bit was what Nook said to Alice. Whatever's going on here, no matter how crazy, we'll figure it out together.
I loved it. I wanted to cry.
Yeah, I love that. Like, you know, like that. Like he's always been there for her, even in this cursed, thing.
Mhm.
You know, like he's just always felt like he can't explain it. He just knows he has to be there for her. And
Right.
I think if you think about it too, before he gave away the white horse to Jacinda, I think some of the magic may have rubbed off on him, like theoretically,
Oh.
so that he'll have that relationship with Tilly. All he would have had to do was to form it and to start it. So I think it rubbed off in a sense.
I could see that.
And that whole bit where Alice was like, "Oh, how cruel is for people to be right next to the ones they love
Mhm.
and not know it. How
Right.
cruel." And the
Be
fact
so
that she was
far.
saying that to her dad, and I'm like,
I know.
Somebody's cutting these onions. Somebody's cutting these damn onions.
Yep.
Like, thank you for pointing out the cruelty in front of the person that matters to you most, but you don't know it.
Right.
But you don't know it. It's so great that she has a sense of knowing you, but not really knowing you. It's like,
Her character, I mean, this whole season has been, I know almost what the heck is going on.
move over,
And-
Katie Lau. Move over, Katie Lau. This should have been the Alice in Once in Wonderland.
Wow. That's a big statement.
Hey, I mean, I like what she brought to the character and everything. Side note, thing on the side, but I think
You gotta
also
comment
she-
that again because Bobby didn't hear it. You
No,
gotta
I
say
heard it. I
You heard it. Oh, okay.
I heard it. I was just waiting for him to finish.
Sorry.
I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Oh, them fighting words right there. I'll let you finish.
I'm just saying, I love her rendition of Alice. I mean, hey,
Be afraid, Tony.
different.
Be very afraid.
No, I
Right.
I don't know the girl's name, but I wish I did because I do agree that she's been doing a great job as far as what she's brought to the character this season. It's a totally different character from pretty much any interpretation of Alice that we've seen, period, to be honest with you. Which is what this season promised us, is different interpretations of familiar characters.
Rose is her name.
Oh, really? That's who plays
Alice Rose
the
Reynolds.
Tilly / Alice? Okay, so the Soki Biagi or whatever is Margot then? Like like her name, like her last name is like all like it's like Swedish or something. I don't even know. Robin / Margot. Like look up her last name and you'll see like they need to buy a vowel.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, Margot actor.
Margot actor? What kind of Google search is that?
Hey, actually, I am not putting labels on their job anymore. Even though you're a woman, you are an actor. Period.
There we go. Do you have the last name?
Boom.
That wasn't what I was referencing. I was Margot actor. It's 2 words. I mean, shouldn't you use like Once Upon a Time or something like that?
Like
So look it up. That's what I meant.
Margot Kidder is that Lois Lane?
I did put it Once Upon a Time. Margot actor.
Oh, okay. You pulled that part.
Or female Robin Hood.
Let's see here. Say it again.
Female Robin Hood.
Look her up. Tierra Scoffi is my guess.
Yeah, my guess. See, exactly.
Spell it.
Skovbye.
Okay, yeah, by vowel, yes, for sure. My mom taught me to sound out names, but even I can't get that one.
Scoffy, maybe?
Like I said, she's got to buy a vowel. Well, okay, look, I'm not trying to like.
It's not even that bad. I mean, it could be worse.
Well, okay.
Oh, I have seen worse. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I have.
IKEA
Joe
furniture.
Manganiello.
I have seen worse. Like,
All right.
Jesus. But no, that is not that bad.
Skarsgård.
Oh God.
What was
Before I
stellar?
ever
You
heard
mean
that one pronounced.
stellar
Oh my
skateboard? Anyway, we'll move on. Gothel rejoins the ball. Isla makes a snide comment and the guests snicker, but this time she's not trying to fit in. She just wants revenge. Isla motions for her guards, but Gothel summons some vines that make quick work of them. She seals the doors, locking the guests inside before wrapping Isla up in roots. They slowly overtake her body before wrapping around her neck, and with a flick of her wrist, Gothel delivers one of the more gruesome deaths this show has seen. Misspelled scene. She sends the roots after Seraphina, who instinctively raised her hands to stop them. She seems she's had magic this whole time, but hid it in fear of how they would react. Gothel tells her to come with her, and they'll never have to hide again. With a wave of her hand, she fills the room with poisonous plants, killing everyone inside. Flash forward to Gothel has Rogers tied up and confirms everything Henry has said. She tells Tilly she must become the 8th member of her coven and help cast a new curse. Tilly says she would never help the person who killed her father. Gothel lets her know who her true father is, but deep down she's known it all along. Tilly still declines, but Gothel tells her that if she doesn't help, they will kill Rogers. Years ago, Gothel shows Seraphina the now desolate grove. She tells Seraphina that she has wiped out all of humanity, but she knows that eventually they will return. But this time they will be left to their own devices because through their own actions they have created something that has never existed, a land without magic. Gothel produces a beam to open a portal to another realm where they can regain power. And when that time comes, she will return and re-cleanse the land once more and reclaim their homes. She magically marks the spot so they know where to return and they step through to a new world. Thousands of years later, on that very spot is now under Hyperion Heights. Gothel tells Tilly if she does not join them, they will have to drain Rogers to enact the curse. Tilly reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Lucy brings Sandy the slipper her mom found so that he can do his voodoo juju to cure Henry. He crushes the slipper over a red doll, symbolizing the poison heart, and the doll changes color. A wave of magic rushes from Sandy's to Henry, where he instantly feels something happen. He gets a call from Jacinda telling him they found the slipper, and he rushes over. She says the pieces fit together like magic, and she too is starting to believe. Henry says that there is only one way to find out. They finally kiss. Lucy walks in and nothing. The curse doesn't break. Back at the theater, Rogers begs Tilly not to go through with this, but she tells him she has to. She can't be responsible for her father's death. She steps into the circle and the symbol on the ground begins to glow as a circle of fire spins to the sky. Pretty anticlimactic there. That definitely felt like the first part of a two-parter there, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, so like I was saying earlier, this episode definitely felt like, to me, as far as take one part Mean Girls, 2 parts Carrie. And then what I was mentioning earlier, this episode buried the lead. I don't know. Okay, just so I'm clear with this, are we saying that, okay, we're saying the show just said that Gothel came from our realm, and Gothel is the reason that our land is the land without magic. Am I right?
No.
You know what?
Why no? Okay, hold on. Why no? How did they not say that, Monica?
Oh, it's not that she came from our realm,
mm-hmm.
but that the interaction she had with those humans, that was what created our realm.
Okay, here's what I saw. What I saw is that Gothel was in this corner of this world that still had magic, and she was sequestered away because everyone in the world hated magic and thought it was an abomination. And then the people of that world destroyed magic. And so then she killed the people who destroyed that magic and then left that world to another world, because now they've created a place that has never existed before. The one place in all the realms where there is a land without magic, which is our realm.
Wait. So wait, are you saying
love
that?
how Bobby put that.
Are you saying that she created the land without magic, which means
No, the humans created the god. The humans created us. Our ancestors created the land without magic, or not even ancestors, because she wiped out all of what was humanity at the time.
What was humanity? Yeah.
You know, we had, like she said, we had to come back up from the primordial ooze. She decimated planet Earth, and the humans decimated magic, and so she decimated humanity.
Well, there goes my comment.
Yeah, that kind of blows my little tangent, kinda ish, or at least the way how I felt about it.
I mean, am I wrong?
I mean, because if what you're saying is true, then that would make her as old as Rumpelstiltskin.
Older.
No, older.
Older.
If
Much older.
Older than a black fairy, too.
This is older than the stories. This is okay.
Probably
This is what I got from it. 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 The land without magic was previously the first land with magic, and then she had to open a land to other realms to help magic grow.
So, which means she created Misthaven, or that's how Misthaven was born.
You know, she took she was the only remaining part of magic, and she carried it to the other worlds.
So, but still, my question still remains. So, with her being Mother Nature, quote unquote Mother Nature, she created Misthaven at the time when it was called Misthaven and the other realms.
I don't know if she's necessarily like directly responsible, but at the very least, she's indirectly responsible because
then that will blow away what's his face. That will blow away Merlin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She predates it all. Period.
That my mind is blown right now.
I don't get it.
Dang, Bobby, good job at blowing the mind.
I don't get it because I can see how probably she is the beginning of the land with no magic. That's probably on how that realm, our world, was created, and this
She's
fairy
like
tale
the Alpha
says.
and Omega.
I wouldn't call her God, but
I'm just this magic
I wasn't
world.
going that far. I was just thinking of Jim Carrey in that movie where he plays God, and he's like, "I'm the Alpha, baby. I'm the Omega." You remember that show? Anyway.
But yeah, that's what I that's what I got from it.
Here's my thing. Wait a minute. Okay, if you predate the realm with no magic, then who predates all the magic that we know in the show today?
Look, there are so many things.
Forest and Arendelle and the land without color, or all those other realms that we have visited. Who predates that? Okay. That's my question.
That's the one thing. That. Okay, of all the things that I'm upset that we will never really get an answer of, be it the Jefferson's hat, be it
I'm still mad about that.
Be it the land of untold stories, all of that. The one thing that makes me the most upset, and was never even really teased, is how did the birth of how did the author and the stories and all that come into existence? They never really fully established how all of that really works.
Who was the very first author?
Who was the first author? How did the stories work? What did the author bear the stories into existence? Or there's so many different questions that just never really got answered about that.
Something tells me that as soon as not Arthur, but Merlin became, into the very first person with magic, or so they said at the time, he probably had his first apprentice who acquired the very first author. Of course, that person will never know who that is, but that was probably shortly created. The stories probably shortly got created right after
And-
Merlin got first magic and then got his apprentice, and then the apprentice sought out the very first author.
In my mind, it plays out like American Gods.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen American Gods or the TV show or read the books, but basically the gods exist through the belief of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, for instance, in one of the episodes of American Gods, Jesus is represented by like a multitude of different people, because there's so many different people who see Jesus as so many different ways. And so, like, there was like the Catholic Jesus and the Mexican Jesus and the there was all the different Jesuses. Because
I want to see what the Mexican one looks like.
it was just through all of the and so that's how I see the stories of the worlds of the stories came into existence as the stories spread. Not even necessarily be written down, because our oldest form of storytelling was just passed along through generation.
Generations of people.
Right. And so even then, that's when these worlds were created, or at least that's again how my mind sees it.
It just really seems like maybe they, when these stories were told, they got told a certain way. It's been changed throughout all generations.
And that's what I'm saying, exactly. And just like I was saying with the different Jesuses, like this region had this story of Cinderella that they told, but this region had a very similar but different story of Cinderella. So that's where you had the different realms, and I totally got all of that, but I just wish that they were a bit more clear as far as how just how all of it plays out. How it was created, how it came to be.
Because here's the thing also, before any of these people, as of Mother Gothel or Merlin, there were, the Mount Olympian gods, which means they have had to be the very, 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 very first instances of magic, and then they probably sent out the other two.
No, I think Mother Nature is the first instance of magic. Just
she could still be a god, though.
Just like she mentioned in this episode, and just like they mentioned I think this was the thought that I had lost earlier. Just like they mentioned earlier in the season, whether it be Tremaine when she said it or Gothel in this episode, magic is all around us. You just have to know how to use it. And so the land without magic is not a land without magic because it has no magic. It's a land without magic because the people here forgot how to use it.
Forgotten how to use it.
Yes.
With the destruction of it being,
with
the destruction of it, so goes the belief.
Right, with the belief and everything. And when Mother Gothel, Mother Nature, was the last remnant of magic in this world, and when she left through that portal, that was it. This was the land without magic.
Basically, and then also, if you remember back in season 2, when Regina was trying to open the hat, her and Emma, like Emma was protecting her and stuff like that, she was saying magic works different here, which means is that it's not that it's a land, again, we're coming back to full circle. It's not like it's a land without magic. It is a land with magic, but it works differently.
Limited.
Exactly. It's very limited. It's very different, because in every different type of realm and things like that, magic works differently. Like, have you ever noticed, like I had mentioned this earlier in early episodes of the season, have you ever wondered when a Regina comes to a new realm and she tries to do magic, all of a sudden it's like, my powers, they're not working, and then all of a sudden in the next scene she has magic. It's like she almost has to adjust to that world and how the magic works there.
But adaptation should take way longer than one scene. Just saying.
Yeah, but when you're talking about 45-minute episodes, so yes.
It's TV. It's like she almost has to go into a corner.
Technical, but
I mean, well, hey, I think we have the right to be after all these 7 years, but still. But still, it's like she has to go into a corner and say, okay, guys, hey, how does magic supposedly work in this realm? Okay, cool. Come back in the view, and it says, I all of a sudden have magic. I mean, she came right into the new realm, out of the portal from Storybrooke, out of the land of magic, the land with no magic, and she came here saying, "I'm his mother," and all of a sudden she has magic. I don't know. I mean, like, it's like she again adapted out of nowhere. I mean, this show has always done a few, done different things and adapted, people on how magic works in different places. But this is by far the funkiest and the weirdest type.
Anyway, that's my big thing is that I saw that, like I said, that's my biggest, this was the beginning of the show, more or less. Mm-hmm. She was responsible for the land without magic. Mm-hmm. Or not she, I mean, I guess yes, because even though her mother told her to, her mother told her to leave, told her she had to find another land where she could help magic grow.
Mm-hmm.
So
she sure did. She didn't mean for her daughter to go crazy and all of a sudden kill all of humanity and say, "Here, I'm gonna kill you all, and I'll start over."
So that's what I saw. I think Mother Gothel is Mother Nature, and she came from our realm thousands of years ago, and Mother Nature wiped out humanity.
How it came back, we don't know.
Well, I mean, two people left or whatever. She didn't know, she didn't realize that she didn't wipe them out.
And they procreated.
Bow, bow.
Wow, right? And then before you knew it, 100 became 1,000, 1,000 became...
You know how this works.
You
know how this works. Elizabeth just filled us in at the beginning of the show.
Right.
Thanks for that, Bobby. Thank you. Thanks for tying me in there.
Well...
And I didn't see how
it's
anything...
a regular human bodily function.
No, but no.
How to procreate.
No, okay, we're not having any.
This is supposed to be a family show.
Yeah, we're not having any lessons.
Nothing family about this show since what, season 3?
Elizabeth, do you still want to bring up your points, or?
They don't even matter now. I mean, all I was really going to say was I didn't believe it was thousands of years because the clothes and the house and everything about it just screamed like maybe 15th century at the latest. And then Bobby threw in his thoughts, and my mind's still blown. So dude, I got nothing.
I was watching the show, and I was like, I'm watching the show during that during that scene where it says right before it, and I'm like, this show has not even had any kind of stamps or anything. How do I even know where is anything taking place? And then it says many years ago. Then it says no. Well, I didn't. I didn't see that spot in the beginning, but it also never said in another world or another realm or anything. It just said many years ago. And then in the beginning it says thousands of years later, and I'm watching it zoom like it does, and I'm like, wait a second, because like I said, because she held her hand on the thing to show okay, this is where we have to return, and then she found that key underneath Hyperion Heights of that.
That's what that was?
Yes,
I have no idea what that scene was. What she was talking, she's like, "There's a bit of magic still here." I'm like, "What is?" I didn't see what was in her hand.
It was the door to her grove.
Here's her grove. Mm-hmm.
See, that's just another thing I just love about not even history. It's just so that's where the level of soil was before, and then think of how much it's grown.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
This was how much has evolved.
Right. That's why I was saying that. She's from our realm, and so I watched that, and it says thousands of years ago. I was like, oh well, there's the timestamp. Then I was like, wait a second, and I was like, holy, crap.
Oh wow, it almost slipped, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming, and whoa, okay. Anyway, I mean, but you disagree with me, Tony?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. But if anything, I remember seeing on Twitter that they were promising us a timeline. I'm gonna wait.
No, they'll never give us a timeline.
I'm a forever wait. Like, all I need is for them to like give us.
You gotta wait a
huge-
couple thousand years.
Maybe.
Mhm.
All I'm hoping for, if they ever do it, is to give us like a poster, like, and say, okay, hey, this is where magic started, or this is where, you know, like this is where the land without
Really
magic
long.
began, and then yeah, it'll be huge. Till that day, I'll be forever waiting.
That'll be more likely fan created than writer created.
If anything, I wouldn't mind. I need any type of information of how things began instead of many years ago, 100 years ago.
Joe, we got
Several
a big
years
part of that
ago.
tonight. We got a big part of that tonight. We got the origin of the land without magic.
Yeah, and that's pretty huge. I mean, if you really think about it. I mean, because when they started out with Merlin, that's how magic was born, or in that realm. Because maybe
Right.
what Gothel probably did in her realm pushed it, you know, to
Right. That's what I'm saying. She was able to birth magic elsewhere, but she just never brought it back to our realm because of, you know.
what we did.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
what they did.
Yeah. Don't blame me.
Yeah, don't
I
blame
wasn't
us.
there.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I ain't do it.
All right, Monica, did you have any, or do you have anything to add, Tony, before I move on to Monica?
I guess before your thought, I thought Fred did a whole lot of things wrong. Especially the point where you said about the neck snapping, about that being the most, you know, like a brutal death we've seen in the show, when we've always seen Regina just took a flick of the wrist and said, "Hey, I don't like you, crack." Also, let me see. I guess before you had mentioned your point and everything, I had a whole long thing about, you know, the land without magic and how did you create it? Like, it was just so, you know, it just didn't seem off. And then also I was pretty disappointed when, after they've taken, how many episodes is this now? 17? 16?
19.
Okay, after 19 episodes of waiting, I want to get my freaking True Love's pulse, you know.
Yeah, that was pretty weak.
And it's like,
It
what?
was.
19 weeks. We've been waiting 19 freaking weeks.
Well,
No, even longer if you think of the winter break.
Well, that too. But we've been waiting for so long for
19 episodes.
this damn kiss.
I'm just and all at the same time I'm thinking Jacinda's like, well, this Jacinda has no memories of that life, so the single mother in me wants to kiss you, your version of. I thought it was kind of weird.
I thought it was, yeah, and I didn't like
got
it.
what she was trying to say, but it was weird.
I didn't. I mean,
Kiss the damn woman.
I was hoping for the big, poof, or at least if there's a big boom, then at least we will be in the direction of the show, like, you know, saying, hey, we're awake. So now let's spend the next 3 weeks, you know, tying up everything as we're awake and not waking us up probably like what?
I hadn't thought about that though. What if maybe Henry and Jacinda both like give Lucy a kiss on the forehead at the same time or something like that? Just because, you know, we've also seen a parental true love's kiss. So what if it was something like that needed to happen? I don't know.
I could see that. No, that actually makes a lot of sense.
That would be perfect because they're all family and they all love each other, and that parental, you know, love to their child would be the ultimate, you know, the ultimate true love, you know.
Yeah, I hope you're listening in there. I love you. Okay.
Right. I love you, you know. Oh, and also, I'm sorry, but Lucy's up to her old antics again. Who is gonna whoop this child about going to go see somebody as dangerous as Sandy?
Running with
Yes. I'm just gonna work with you, sir, because you know you seem like you're the only one who knows what they're doing, and y'all can get my parents. But like, girl, do you know he is after your great grandfather's dagger? Like, did this ever occur to you? But yeah, Jesus, Fred, what are you doing? What are you doing? But yeah, wow, that's my haterade.
All right. Before Tony has anything else to add, Monica, do you have
I have
anything?
nothing
You
else.
want-
I have nothing else. That was it. I have
Sorry.
nothing else. I have nothing else. I'm done.
Okay, Monica, what would you like to add before we close out?
As much as I love your theory on the creation of our world without magic, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be in the show.
But it wasn't a
Canon.
show. It just was. How does?
Let her.
As
She
far-
gonna let you. I'm gonna let you finish, but she got something
I'm
to
sorry.
say
You both
about
are
it.
going to shut up, let her talk.
Just from the way the writers have been writing things, the way they were dressed, it was too much like our world for it to have been. Oh, and now we're going to recreate the exact same thing.
She said I destroy humanity and they'll have to create anew. She touched that spot to make sure that she would return to that same spot when she enacted the curse. And then she took the key out of the same door that was the now desecrated that entered into her grove, of the same key that she put in through and unlocked in the beginning of the episode. And it said thousands of years later in the same spot. And they showed that being that same spot by showing the camera zoom in to that same spot from the sky. It's zoomed out and then back in.
Hi.
I don't think we're going to get any further exposition.
Oh no, they're not going to explain that. That was their explanation. Period. End of sentence.
As far as any, I don't think we're going to get anything else out of that at all.
Oh no, I don't think so either. That was them saying this was she is the birth of the land without magic. But they're not going to elaborate on that. That's just them. That's just what happened. When do they ever elaborate on anything?
They do in their own way.
When they say they will.
Right, when they say they will, and when you see it. But right now they don't have time, so they just basically.
Well, that's true too. That's true. Yes.
Mother Gothel is the birthplace, or is the birth person of the land with no magic.
I think that I actually like the idea. I wish they could. What's the word I'm looking for? Stretch it out farther. Fill it out. Yeah, expand on that. I wish that there was, they could tell us more story to that. But
what if also she was a part of, with her being Mother Nature, and that's kind of like a goddess role. What if she was, with Zeus and all the others?
They say that's what Gaia is.
You could say what if she was?
That's what I'm saying. You could say that she was Gaia, more or less.
Mm-hmm. Or what if she was a part of the natural selection of the birth of magic?
There was something else. There was something else I was watching where there was she would just roam throughout history and create, be the birth of religions and I almost feel like she was the first witch at this point.
Yeah, the very first witch of her time before.
Exactly. She was the first witch. She was the birth of covens and witches and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Which could be very huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like she could have definitely, in our realm where we know of, would have been, the person who would have chosen Merlin. But maybe she prophesies. Maybe this will be the person who births magic on this side of the realm spectrum.
But I'm sorry, Monica. I feel like we cut you off. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I'm really sorry about that. I just feel so strongly about this. I like that. I just like what took my mind's still blown because I've watched it like just before we started doing the podcast. But go ahead and finish your thought. I'm sorry.
If Gothel was the first witch, how do you explain the other witch?
What other witch?
The lady that she brought into the coven.
She
was
was
an S.
Seraphina.
Yeah.
She was
technically she was.
They never really explained like why or where her magic came from, but it was obviously different. But it was obviously different than Mother Gothel's magic, and she was also was the one person out of the whole world that showed any magic, apparently, because she's the only person that Gothel didn't kill.
Right.
So before this, it wasn't a land without magic. There was magic here, but it was
just one of the lucky few who learned it before it became extinct.
It was swiped out. It was snuffed out by
Gothel. Maybe.
I have a hard time believing that Gothel actually killed all of humanity. I think she believes it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was true.
Okay, and we even mentioned that earlier. We said that earlier in the episode that there's a very good chance that there's a small pact of humanity that she didn't kill, or a few.
So I think that's how our timeline continued on the way it did.
Okay, I could see that too, but I don't see how that shoots any holes in in what happened.
I don't think she restarted creation.
I don't think I'm not saying. Okay, even if there were only a few dozen, let's say a few dozen people left, that's more or less restarting creation.
Mm-hmm. It's 12 people already.
I don't think she's nearly as powerful as she thinks she is.
I don't know. I think she's Mother Nature. I think she is Mother Nature, and I think she is just as powerful as Mother Nature is.
I mean, it's about the same thing that I mentioned too. That I don't think that she killed all of humanity. Like, you couldn't just be like on this little bit of a massacre rampage in this little castle and say, "Okay, I'm done. I killed humanity."
But what if she's so powerful that from that one spot that she wasn't just sprouting these plants from this room, she was sprouting them all over the planet, all over the realm.
We never know. That is just something that we would have to theorize.
But anyway, let's leave let's leave Mother Nature alone for a minute. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up about Allison Hook or Jacinda and Henry or
the shoe pieces? So there was the toe part that he and Lucy found back at the beginning of the season, and then there was the heel part that came up in his tire, and this whole time, for whatever reason, I assumed it was part of the same shoe. So when the entirety minus the toe came up in the BL box, I was like, oh, wait! Oh, that was part of the other shoe.
Oops.
Yeah, either that or they just didn't think about it when they, because we haven't seen that second piece for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, at one point he had the heel and he had the toe piece, like you were saying. But
it was like a jigsaw puzzle.
And there's no reason that it has to be part of the same shoe.
No, that's true. So, and now that Sandy's used all of the magic from that one shoe, maybe there's something where they have to come across the other shoe as well.
Ooh, that could be.
That would be nice.
I love the line. I don't know how I got so lucky for you to be so nice to a strange stranger like me. Alice to Nook.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that line. Yeah, and as far as that kiss at the end, I think if Jacinda, I mean, clearly Jacinda likes Henry, but if she's not yet in the place of, I love this guy, even if he is, then that's still not true love's kiss. Simply because she's not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And she likes this guy, that things are going well. She just needs another minute.
I can hear you, but she also took that second to be like, hold on a second, I'm not Cinderella, I'm Jacinda, and I want, this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they almost kind of, took that moment, took that beat to kind of say what you were just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Doggy.
Sorry.
Sorry, lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, Monica. You were talking about Jacinda and Henry?
And with Snow and Charming, they didn't, I mean, it wasn't immediate with them either.
You mean in their cursed personas?
Yeah, in the back season 1.
Uh-huh.
They took a while to get to the place of, oh, you.
No, I hear you.
So I think we just need to give them another minute.
Well, they don't got a minute. They got 3 episodes.
Or
maybe that's their minute, Bobby.
Them, it's Alice and Robin who break the curse.
And I think we've even brought forth that theory earlier as well. I think we did say something about it, possibly being Alice and Robin, as opposed to, which would make a lot of sense. I mean, they have been just as much a key part of this season as Henry and Jacinda have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love their flirting relationship.
Oh,
So much. So
I want
much.
to get Robin, damn it.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot going on in this episode. I feel like we all had a lot to say.
So much.
Yeah, and so if no one else has anything else to say, I think that's going to bring us to the arbitrary scale.
It's at the bottom.
Yeah, I know, I saw it, and we're like Bill. We're like me and Bill this week, Tony, because that's exactly what I was going to put in there too. I was probably going to put in a different number. You know how I like to put in odd numbers, but I was going to use the same scale. So, out of 1,000 pieces of broken glass slipper, Tony, we'll go and start with you this week. What do you want to give this week's episode?
I'm out of 1,000 pieces of broken glass slippers, I'm going to give it 835.
835. Okay, so
yes. 835. Basically, it was a great episode, and it opened up some really killer theories that I loved. So, yeah.
At the very least, killer theories. I would totally agree. Yes.
Yeah. at the very least, after every uncanon thing about which one came first, Gothel or
let's not go down this road again.
Please.
Yeah, I like it. Whatever. That's it.
No, you're good. All right, Elizabeth. What do you give this week's episode? I have 1,000.
I really feel like it's around the 900s, but I can't pinpoint like an exact number. 915.
All right, 915.
Yeah. I liked it. It had a lot of good stuff in it. I can't get over the bad makeup, but
yeah.
But for me, it was really like your theory, Bobby, just blew me away about everything, and I I like that it's coming together and everything's getting wrapped up and some questions are being answered. But yeah, Lucy should not be running with class. But anyways,
Right?
All right, and
what a child there! What a child!
What a child.
Monica, what do you want to give this week's episode?
I'm gonna go 900.
Okay. Okay.
I liked the episode. I get Lucy and Sam D. I want to like it, and at the same time, I'm like, this child, is she brave, innocent, stupid?
All of
Where
the
do I
above.
go on the scale? I don't know. I don't know what to think of her in this relationship, because Sam D he's kind of on a redemption arc, and then he isn't, and I don't know what to feel about this guy. So yeah, there's that, and the whole just mass confusion I feel about Gothel. Yeah, but overall it was a good episode.
I'm going to continue my trend over the last few weeks, with few exceptions. Out of 1,000 pieces of broken glass slipper, I'm going to give this episode 932.
And why?
Highest score.
I've been given the score. I've been given the show perfect scores while you've been out, Elizabeth.
You know, you're so mean to me, Bobby.
It's okay.
No,
You've been in other realms.
I was just pointing out that, like, you know, the past few episodes I've been really impressed with, except for I think it was like 2 weeks ago that I was like totally not impressed with. But yeah,
Was it Lana Priya's episode?
This
you
is
weren't impressed with?
Yeah, I believe that, and it had nothing to do with her direction. It just was not
at all.
Yeah,
It's just
was
what
not
they gave her.
Episode. Yeah. But yeah, tonight's episode, or this week's episode, rather.
Last week's episode.
You know what I'm talking about. The one we're talking about. Okay. Even if what I'm saying isn't true, which to me, like, there were so many things there that at the very least, the core of that has to be true. That was just one of the biggest, like, I did not see that coming. And yeah, at the very least, like you said, Tony, this was a great episode for theories nonetheless. I thought the performances were great. Unfortunately, we didn't see at all Robert Carlyle or
he was too busy. He was too busy, you know.
Or Lana Priya either. Neither one of them were in the episode at all.
No, they were both still fighting in the corner.
Yeah, whatever. They were off having an argument in Ronnie's basement or something. I don't know. But yeah, and what's funny is with I guess that's Sabine, but with the exception of those three people, like, almost every person played a part in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I just hate that she's basically just say, "Hey, I got a text from Sabine."
Yeah, she does that a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if the actress gets paid whenever that happens. I doubt it.
Like, hey, we are going to give you $1,000 each time Sabine
gets mentioned.
Like, hey, I just got a text from Sabine. Yes.
All right, and then I thought this week's was a great episode, and not really any news or speculation with only 3 episodes remaining. But I will say, okay, so everyone here saw the promos, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see the promo?
I haven't been looking at the promo.
Monica, you haven't seen the promo?
It's worth looking at.
Do you
It will
guys,
blow your
Believe me,
mind.
I will.
Do you guys-
I will.
okay, the name of the episode is who is this Henry Mills, or who is this Henry Mills, or who is Henry Mills, or something like that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, and so like the end of the promo, I've got to say this: the end of the promo, like Henry Andrew J. West, picks up the phone, and he's calling someone, and then on the other line, Henry picks up, like Jared Gilmore,
and he's in graduation robes.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the response, Tony, right there. That's the response, Tony. Right?
Okay.
That was my face when I saw the promo. Why do you call yourself in the past? I want to know.
I'm looking it up right now. Right now.
But yeah, like I didn't care about anything else in the promo. I saw that like the last 2 seconds. I was like, what?
Oh God, don't do that voice.
But anyway, but yeah, so yeah, next week's episode looks to be just as enticing as the past few have been. I can't wait to see what happens there, and I just can't wait to see, how the rest of the season plays out. Unfortunately, that will mean that that's the end of the show. But
we are 2 weeks closer to the end.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. You know what? I am actually sad because it was just starting up.
You know what? To be honest with you, I wasn't like I all of a sudden just the other day I started getting like really kind of like man, this isn't
bummed, right?
Yeah, we're not doing this anymore.
Okay. Very, 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 very quick note. Like,
what's up?
Despite sometimes Fred messing up in scripts or CGI, things like that, what show hasn't done it?
No, I agree. And for the most part, there's a reason we took the show over when Bill and Anne-Marie decided that it was too much for them. And when I say too much for them, I mean like
personal lives and things
no.
I
mean the show was too much. They decided they didn't want to carry on.
They didn't want to do it no more. You know what? We quit. They
were like, I've had enough with this show. They were like, so done. They and there's plenty of people who felt that way about this show, but there's also plenty of people who stuck around, and for those who have,
it's been a treat.
We love you.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a treat.
And if for one reason or another you want to, give us a ring, let us know how you feel about the show. We last week we actually got some feedback, and we would love to be able to get a little bit of feedback from you guys. Even if it was just in the Facebook group or whatever,
Twitter message, tweet us.
The email is greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. The Twitter is @gfstorybrooke. The Facebook is facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. And the voicemail is 424-274-2352. That's 424-274-2352.
It's still up.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to say that again, but oh well, yeah. But yeah, like I said, for the most part, Twitter, email obviously is great, but Twitter and Facebook specifically, we've got a great message group great community in Facebook that for the most, of course they're not near as active as they used to be, but that's where we see most of our feedback, to be honest with you.
They are there with the views. It definitely counts.
Yes, it does.
People seeing this or
it also helps us know that people are out there listening, But in the meantime, Tony, if they wanted to catch up with you, where would they find you online?
You all can catch up with me on the Twitters at Hoops900.
And Monica?
On Twitter at Monica Sadai.
All right, and Elizabeth?
I'm always on Facebook, like every second of the day. And
Wiz_87?
Yes, I was going to say
something else. I was talking about Facebook.
Oh.
I don't know which one that is. I think that one's Instagram.
That's the Twitter. That's the Twitter.
Is that the Twitter? I didn't even know. You guys know my kills better than I do. Oh my god. I'm gonna be a mama. That's what's important. I'm gonna be a mama.
This was before you was gonna be a mama. We knew your Twitter handle.
We knew you when.
I'm trying to think of what's important, and Twitter's not important to me.
All right. And of course, you can find me every week vamping because I've never pull up my phone and blah, 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 blah. All right.
La 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 la.
What was that? Beat. What? Wait. What is that from?
No, don't say it. It was an accident.
Da 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 da. Wait, what is that?
Almost.
Oh my god! I knew it was something stupid like that. I knew it was something stupid like that.
Oh my god. Okay, Bobby, that's really cute.
Oh, where was I?
We're gonna close the show, Bobby.
All right. Until next time.
Oh my god.
Hold on. All right.
Hello, those are you, Lee.
Oh, okay. Count us down. 3, 2, 1.
Greetings.
I can't even use it.
I just can't. This show is real.
Well.